All right, so again, myself, Jared Dienda, Ryan Sage, Ryan Lontaine is going to join us, as well as Lorette Nichols. She's going to be giving us some insight tomorrow. And but Ryan, just coming into the 15th year, we've grown up so much, more gray hair, lack of hair, but we've seen so many things unfold and transpire just over the years. But just the progression, I would say, even over the last 5 years, but now from 15 years ago, it's just fantastic to be back here.
Yeah, I was listening into a lot of the drivers, and am I going out?
All right, so yeah.
Hello, am I going out?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. All right, so is your mic on now?
I don't think so. Am I open?
All right, so Ryan's having a little technical difficulties here, but I mean, in all honesty, just you know, being here at Long Beach for 9 years and now 15 years overall, and you know, obviously you've heard the news if you're a Drift fan that we are going back to Irwindale, not Las Vegas, but again, Ryan, is your headset back yet?
I'm going out to the stream, so I'm not going out to live. So
okay,
you should probably
all right, so yeah,
over.
I should probably take over. But we were just going to wrap out about some of the vehicles and what's going down here, but. Some of the guys re-entering. Let's talk about Forrest Wang. Forrest Wang, he's back in the mix. Yeah, we got some Forrest, even a life-size cutout. Is that life-size? It looks larger than life, actually. His hang loose, his Shaka hands, we'll get a shot of that later. His hang loose Shaka hand looks large, larger than normal. Federico Cerifo, the Triple F drifting department, Ferrari 599 GTB, and this thing's insane. It's a twin supercharged V12 Ferrari, so it kind of makes you pucker every time that thing hits the track, but was fortunate enough to be down on the wall when he rode by and got really close to the wall, and looks like he's going to be having some fun out here. And then just notably, just James Dean last year coming into this year, does he have what it takes to back it up? Also, Frederick Osbo, he's in a new vehicle, but the Papadakis racing team very well established, obviously with a few championships under their belt, including Frederick and then previously Tanner Faust, as the Papadakis racing team operated those vehicles with Tanner. But also Odi Bakshi, so I think he's one to watch, because if you think about him being in the same vehicle, it's a very proven chassis. The S14 did some aesthetically pleasing things for, you know, running the wide body kit, the S15 front end, but you know, the guts of it and the heart of the beast is definitely there. Are we back?
We're back.
All right,
we're back, baby.
All right, well, perfect timing. Forrest Wang, car number 808. Here we go. Vaptasia, Achilles Radial, Energy Innovations, Sylvia, S15, our first qualifying run. Nice job getting out of that touch and go, getting on to that outer zone, into the second outer zone, and now approaching that final front clip. The Black Magic front clip wraps it around. Nice job there by Forrest Wang. Forrest Wang, great way to start. Great way for Forrest Wang to come back and show you know he definitely has a lot of style. Talking to Nick Dujon, who actually works on his team, a former employee of Formula Drift and operated Vegas Drift, but he talked about just the different things they did to the car, adding speed, adding grip. But take a look, Ryan.
Yeah, ever the fan favorite here in Forrest Wang. You can see starting off solid here. Great angle coming through that touch and go. Nice smooth transition back around, just rubbing that first outer zone, pretty deep into the second outer zone there. And the judges really want to see you leave that zone at the right place. Forrest tucks up on the inside right here on that last inside clip and pushes through, and a great start for him. It's not too often we see him starting in that 31st position there, so having a season off and now coming back, a true fan favorite of the sport, a great start for him.
All right, so waiting for his score there for Forrest Wang, the Vaptasia Sylvia S15. As you said, Ryan, definitely a crowd favorite. A lot of style exuding from the Sylvia and the kind of signature green color of Forrest Wang. Next up, we'll have Matt Van Kirk. And Matt Van Kirk, he is a Formula Drift rookie. I know he's got a lot of fancy, a lot of those filthy shirts out there. When I say that, I say it on the front. The Drift-O-Matic, I can hear him right here in front of the judging stand, but from Marysville, Washington. So again, awaiting Forrest Wang's score, and the score is a 93 for Forrest Wang. So already out of the gate. And again, style, 40 points overall of the 100. Line and angle, line independently 30, angle 30. Okay, so next up, Matt Van Kirk. You can see him there on the start line. And sending car through the start chicane. Here he comes. Makes some noise for Matt Van Kirk. Throwing it in. Let's see if he can get out to that touch and go. Gets into the rumble strips. Nice job using all the course. Out to touch and go. There's the dedicated outside zone. Lack a little bit of angle. Like to see some more angle. Oh, and then look, backs it into that second outer zone. Well played by Van Kirk. Oh, and a wide swing there. Looks like he gets out of shape, but still keeps it reasonably sideways around that final front clip. Let's take a look here at Matt Van Kirk's first qualifying run.
Yeah, Matt taking that opportunity to grab that Pro 1 license after good performance last year in Pro 2. You can see here getting out to that touch and go right here, pushing out towards that first outer zone, not all the way out there, and then he makes a little bit of contact with the wall. And that pretty much is the true definition of contact, not very interrupted, so he hung in there, but he didn't have that little straightening right there on that last inside clip. So I'll have some deductions there. It did seem like he got through the finish line while in drift, so I don't think it's going to be an incomplete.
Well, coincidentally, the fast orange qualifying with that orange S chassis of Van Kirk, awaiting a score for him. And you know, there's got to be a little bit of, there's got to be a little sense of relief for these Formula Drift rookies. In years past, you know, we'll have 30, 40, as many as 50, 60 drivers in years past. Now with a more refined field, having, you know, we're originally going to have, you know, when we started the season, 32 drivers, but unfortunately we talked about Taylor Hull not being able to make it, you know, and then also Dean Carney, him having some mechanical failures. So everybody, I say that it's got to be a sense of relief, because even given if you have a low qualifying score, you still do make it to head-to-head battles.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting throughout the remainder of the season, because the guys will still be able to push really hard. We'll have that full field, assuming that Taylor and Dean make the rest of the season, which it sounds like. But we'll have 4 of the 8 rounds where we're going to have at least one additional driver that's doing both Pro and Pro 2, and that's Mark Landerville.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, and Landerville, definitely a experienced driver and a capable driver as well. So, waiting for Matt Van Kirk's score. Next up will be another Formula Drift rookie, simply going by Kaz, but Kazuya Toguchi. He is in that Jerry Yang Racing R35, which is formerly actually Robin Ishida's old vehicle. Robin Ishida piloted that vehicle last year, and now he's actually being utilized in the Formula Drift staff. All right, so again, Kazuya Toguchi, and there's Matt Van Kirk. Looks like a score of 70, and that is Kazuya, not Matt Van Kirk. But a score of 70 currently puts him into, obviously, second position. All right, so here we go, Toguchi. Leaving the start chicane. Car looked pretty good in practice earlier today. Also, all the drivers, only 12 practice runs before qualifying, getting all the way out to touch and go. But this is where it counts, and maxing out the angle, and just throws too much at it. So, Kazuya Toguchi in that top one oil R35 will score a 0. Yeah, or excuse me, yeah, an incomplete run, I should add.
Unfortunate for him there. He actually is one of the most popular drivers and a very solid driver in FD Japan. New vehicle for him, obviously a lot to deal with coming over here to the States. You can see trying to get out to that touch and go there, and then wrapping back around here.
Yeah, getting some insight about Toguchi, because, you know, previously to this, he did compete in other drifting sanction bodies, Formula Drift Japan as well, and he earned accolades in kind of a collegiate drifting sanctioning body, and then he got picked up by a large Japanese team called Up Garage, and he campaigned a Sylvia S15 there, and now he's putting all his efforts into Formula Drift USA. So as Toguchi has an incomplete run on his first run, he will have a second one, hopefully to put down a score, because as I said, might not score the highest, but if you do have 2 incomplete runs, you would not advance on into the 32 or the head-to-head battles. Next up, Dirk Stratton. Dirk Stratton from Ohio, the Lingenfelter Performance Achilles tire. Chevrolet C6, excuse me, Chevrolet Corvette C6. Here we go. All right, there it is. Initiating, using all that Fortune Auto suspension travel into that first outer zone. Now into the second. Very fluid, like the fluidity of it. Could be closer given, you know, we started things off there with Forrest Wang. Made it look really easy, but a great debut run for Dirk Stratton coming all the way from Ohio. That's a great way to start for him.
Yeah, tremendous season for him last year, and making that trip up to pro, as you can see. Nice solid start, great initiation, gets out there almost to the touch and go, then right back around here, does stay off that wall there a little bit. And better job here as he leaves that second outer zone and then wraps through this last inside flip. So good start there for Dirk Stratton.
Is that in my ear or going out?
Did go out live that first time. All right, so Dirk Stratton awaiting his score. Beautiful day out here in Long Beach. All right, so again, a beautiful day out here in Long Beach, round one. I know earlier in the week I saw the forecast and potentially rain, which we have seen here before, but the forecast is going to be absolutely bluebird day, both today and tomorrow. Let's take a look. There's 64 degrees, just a slight little breeze. And Dirk Stratton's score. And there it is, an 83 for Dirk Stratton. Nice solid score. And that's got to be a confidence booster. Push him on a little further. All right, so Federico here, one of the most unique drift vehicles we've ever seen in a Formula Drift competition. Just listen, again, I had the pleasure of being down on the wall, pleasure or pain, let's call it what it is. This thing is loud and proud. Take a listen to Federico on his Formula Drift debut from Italy. Lighten up those Nitto tires, take a listen. Woo, nice job on that first outer zone and the second. Now bringing it into that final clip. Dialing in a wide swing there, could have tightened it up. Maxing out that angle. Ryan, well done.
Yeah, well, with that run right there, he'll definitely be in tomorrow's competition. Let's just see where that score is going to come down. You can see a little bit of lacking in fluidity.
All right, so Federico puts down, as Ryan said, a confident run here, getting him a score. Where he lands, we're about to find out, but twin supercharged V12 Ferrari 599 GTB. As we advance on, our next driver will be Austin Meeks, and unfortunately Austin Meeks got into the wall earlier in practice. He's from South Carolina in a picking up a couple new sponsors here. Got a new livery, very similar setup to what he's had over the past 4 years. But Austin Meeks is up next as we await Federico's score, and all right, so Federico did get a 67. That was a 67 for Federico. So not the highest score, but a score nonetheless. So that will land him into head-to-head competition. And here is Austin Meeks talking about his new sponsor, Galp, which is a oil company. But you'll notice that back end, basically the passenger side rear quarter panel got into a tussle with a wall, but if you're going to back it in, or if you're going to hit a wall, you definitely want it to be the back end as opposed to the front where all the critical components are. there's Austin Meeks. You can see that again. And Austin Meeks backs it in once again, but just a quick little tap, not as violent or volatile as he did previously in practice. So Austin Meeks basically got the kind of jitters out of his system and throws down.
Yeah, good to see him back out there. And as he comes into initiation, we're going to see him make a bit of a mistake here. I'm not sure how much damage he sustained to the vehicle. You can see taps the wall there. It does disrupt. That should be counted as a collision. And then you can see runs over that inside strip and then way wide past that second outer zone. So trying to hold it together here. He will have that secondary run. But for that first pass, just a couple mistakes right from initiation, through the touch and go, and right into that wall there. And then has to basically reinitiate back into drift. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes in as an incomplete. So here it is again, Jared. You can see just maybe a little bit of a late initiation, carrying too much momentum, taps the wall again there. So he's got damage on both sides of the vehicle now. One from the second outer zone and this one here from the first outer zone. So regrouping. Big day for him. He's just got to get a score on the board, and yes, the judges are going with an incomplete.
Yeah, so that's an incomplete run for him. We've deemed it incomplete as opposed to a 0, because when it goes to head-to-head, we get rid of the number scoring system. Another Formula Drift rookie here, Kevin Lawrence. And Kevin Lawrence has been working hard, his team working feverishly to get out here, as unfortunately his competition car that took him to a Pro 2 championship last year, which he did phenomenally well. I thought he was out, but then the good luck shined on him last year. But let's talk about his run right now. The Injuku Racing R32 Skyline, keeping it towards the middle of the road, swinging back way off of that second outer zone. Now bring it into the final front clip, dials it in there. But talking about, again, this is a RB powered Skyline, and he had an RB20, 2 engines pop on him in his other competition car.
Yeah, you can see just a little bit of a hesitation there on initiation. Now moving out towards the touch and go, doesn't quite get out there, playing a little bit safe. And then there you can see right here, coming through this last section here, not out towards that second outer zone, then trying to make up some ground here on that last inside clip. So it looks like he will get a score on the board, but certainly some room for improvement there.
All right, awaiting the score for Kevin Lawrence. As I said, just kind of a string of bad luck preparing for round 1. He had his competition car, which is an S chassis, and they got these RB20 blocks from Australia and popped 2 of them on the dyno. So he got this car together, which is his demo car. Run an RB25 under the hood of that. And waiting for K-Law's score, and there it is. It looks like a 68. That is a 68 for Kevin Lawrence in his Injuku Racing R32 Skyline. All right, next up, Farouk Kouai from Poland originally, now living in Northern California, the Reckless Racing E92. Farouk from, I gotta say, from last year to earlier in practice, looking like he's really been working on that car feverishly, and it looks like it's in a much better position mechanically from last year. Nice job by Farouk, getting out of the touch and go. Doesn't get to that, I mean, that's the critical part, is you need to get to that first outer zone. When they enter into that 90-degree turn, the outer zone, that's a touch and go. That's not a dedicated zone. You need to hit it and quit it and get to the first outer zone under the bridge. Let's take a look here, Ryan, walk us through it.
So Farouk making a charge at it again this year. You can see initiates, grabs that e-brake. Now trying to reach out towards this touch and go here. Pretty decent job, but then right here falls way short of that second outer zone. Hits that e-brake once again, and then here shoots towards the second outer zone. Does not go as deep as the judges would like to see there, and then really slow around that last inside clip. Makes a little tiny correction there before the finish line, but it looks like he will get a score on the board.
seems like a few of these guys, Ryan, are getting out to the touch and go and you know, really dedicating themselves out there, but they need to focus more on the first outer zone under the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, everything is about the setup, and it's really hard to make up ground if you miss that first touch and go, especially with the second outer zone. Just trying to draw that nice smooth line between the first touch and go and the first outer zone. If you get that part right, you've got the appropriate line to, you know, take the proper risk to get out of that second outer zone, and you can draw a good line from there. But it is really hard if you make a mistake on initiation.
Would you agree that kind of maybe I should ask you, what's the kind of theme that resonates for you coming from the judges in the drivers' meeting compared to previous years?
Well, I mean, everything I think that we're doing now is really focused on trying to get the best head-to-head battles. And so how that translates into tandem is something that we focus on.
All right, Farouk's score there, a 66. I think there's this understanding of compromise, you know, and that's and basically how you're going to work it out, and it seems like you said, everything working towards a better head-to-head and style and making it really stylish. So I'm excited to see how this season unfolds, who it's going to favor, and who it's going to kind of hurt. Yeah,
well, one of the things that we've really been talking a lot about, especially in drivers' meetings, is just putting a lot more attention on the lead driver in competition.
All right, here we go. This is Rad Dan Burkett, the Rad Industries next entire Toyota Supra. Great-looking car and great-looking line. Woo! Massive angle there from Dan Burkett. Bringing it around. Nice, just tapping that final front clip. Knocking it out of the way, originally from Washington, now living here in Southern California.
So strong performance here by Dan to kick things off on run number 1. You can see initiation, grabs the e-brake, and you can see the yellow marker on the wheel there. That's actually a tool for the judges to let them know what's going on with the vehicles when they're grabbing the e-brake. And here for Brad Dan, a great job through that second outer zone. A tiny bit tight there on that last inside clip, but he makes it look pretty. And overall, a pretty good run there by Rad Dan Burkett.
Radical Daniel, as he's called to his friends, especially the guys at Maximum Driftcast. They like that one, right, kiddo? Got Sam Nalvin and Paco and Corey sitting next to us. They have their halftime show tomorrow, brought to you by AEM Intake Systems. Again, that'll be between the top 32 and the 16 with the Formula Drift halftime show. Again, brought to you by AEM, hosted by the podcast of Maximum Driftcast. So you're going to want to tune into their antics and what kind of tidbits they take note on. But right now, again, waiting for Dan Burkett's Rad Industries Toyota Supra. Great looking car. And I got to say, from last year to this year, boom, an 83. If I can recall, you know, Dan Burkett, his debut Formula Drift Pro, and just compared from last year to this year, looks really strong. Looks a lot more poised.
Yeah, and very comfortable, it seems like, you know, taking some pretty solid risks there on run number 1. So great start for him. He's sitting in position number 2 right now, so a good way to start off the 2018 season.
Yeah, a flourishing team. His wife is spotter Renee, and she's in his dome telling him what's going on. Another husband and wife team, Adrian and Kyle Mohan. Kyle is from here in Long Beach, California. The best finish, I can remember it. He finished 4th. He hasn't podiumed. I want to see this man get on the box. Again, from right here in Long Beach, California, American Ethanol, MX-5 on Next and Tires. This is Kyle Mohan. Oh, and shutting it down. Oh, man, so shuts it down. One of the surviving rotaries right now, just having some issues. The Mazda Tricks MX-5, unfortunately, that will be an incomplete run there, Ryan.
Yeah, tough break there for Kyle. Let's see if we can see what happens here. Looks like initially maybe a vehicle malfunction. He initiates, doesn't get the car to angle, and then right there, just you can see, looks like almost maybe pops out of gear there, and puts it back in and has to finish the run up, but he's shutting it down from the touch and go. So tough break for Kyle. We'll go back and regroup for run number 2.
All right, so Kyle Mohan will receive an incomplete run as we are now next up would be Cameron Moore. Cameron Moore got into the wall in practice earlier. Let's see how the Butcher throws down from Battleground, Washington. And literally, he is a butcher during the week, drifter by weekend. Hence the livery. I don't know if he's back up and running. All right, so and here comes Cameron Moore. And Cameron Moore has an incomplete run as well, going too hard into the touch and go. And that you could see. Happy to see the team work to get the car back out here on track. Potentially not just cosmetic issues that he's experienced as going into that touch and go. Your car needs to be dialed and tight.
Yeah, let's take a look at this here. Cameron Moore, tough break. Straight shot here into initiation, throws it in, headed towards the touch and go. You can see big angle in the car here, and then right there, that back end just comes undone. And he is unable to finish the run, so it'll be an incomplete for him. He'll go back along with Kyle Mohan and Kazuya Taguchi, who currently have incompletes on run number 1.
Yeah, that's just a real unfortunate for Cameron Moore. I know he wants to throw down here in his Cameron Moore Drift 86. As we wait for our next pilot to pull to the line, it is to be, I'm seeing Jeff Jones. I'm not sure if that's Jeff there right in front of Federico. All right, so again, Formula Drift round 1, MagnaFlow, win a free MagnaFlow exhaust. Text MF Drift to 555-888. So again, hey, if you want to win a MagnaFlow exhaust, pull your phone out. You got a moment. Text MF as in MagnaFlow Drift, MF Drift to 555-888. All right, so pull out your phone. You got some time. Also, download the Formula Drift app. I know there's a brand new update as well. Just saw it. Very slick with live scoring alerts and stats, exclusive FD content, breaking news alerts, notifications, access to the free live stream. You can buy your tickets straight from there. And also the new FD Fan Rewards program, exclusive games, contests, video features available for Droid and Apple products. So download the Formula Drift app now. Get all the updates and information, all things Formula Drift. Looks like our track workers. Thank you to all the track workers. You see the ladies and gentlemen out there helping out, keeping the track safe for you and the drivers. Okay, it looks like that is Jeff Jones there off to the left, and a little bit of delay here in the action. All right, so it seems that, again, Jeff Jones having some issues, just getting some words with Pat, basically talking about he's steward up here, and he said that Jeff Jones was thrashing to get the car back together. Now it looks like he's strapping everything on, and he's going to have to call a competition timeout. Another car I'm really excited to see back there is Matt Field, Ryan. Matt Field, his brand new Corvette, and he already tapped that front bumper on the wall. Not bad, but I was talking to another team spotter, and he says the car just looks expensive.
Yeah, and I know Matt had some time for a little bit of a shakedown at the media day on Tuesday, and he was very much excited about it. So we'll see what happens when he gets up there.
All right, so as we are getting prepared for our next battle, let's take a look as We are opening, again, this is round 1 of 8 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship.
We are ready to send it Long Beach. This is a hard-fought battle, door to door. Insane run right now. Getting close, tapping some doors, shredding some carbon fibers. The streets of Long Beach are on fire. Oh, doctor! Here we go, Formula Drift fans around the world. Who's gonna get the victory?
All right, so getting things going there. I know we always get the messages. What time, if it's this time, that time, I love that graphic right there. That helps out so much. Everybody's, well, in Sweden, what time would it be? In Japan, what time would it be? There you go. Well, right now, it's time for Jeff Jones. The Doc X, brand new car for him. He debuted this 370Z as he is lighting up some Falcon tires. Jeff Jones, oh, gets out of shape. Big correction there into that second outer zone. Around that final front clip. And that Edelbrock powered 370Z of Jeff Jones. Ryan?
Well, you have to wonder exactly what he was thrashing on around there, and if that had an impact here on this first run. You can see big e-brake pull on initiation there, right by that third standing cone. Not totally out to that touch and go, and that's where the big mistake was. Lifted out towards that first outer zone, and then brought it back around. I can see the judges shaking their heads a little bit up here, so perhaps that could potentially be an incomplete for Jeff Jones, but we will wait and see what they put in for scores.
All right, so how we doing, Pete Forsberg? As we are getting it going. And Jeff Jones, that will be an incomplete run. That will be an incomplete run for Jeff Jones. All right, next up, this driver probably had just one of the just magnanimous moments last year. Just some of the just fantastic driving. I mean, Ryan, you got emotional watching it, and I did too. But let's see if he can repeat it again. Just an awesome cat and a great driver. Here we go, Jonathan Castro, Jardon Meteldon, GT86. As Castro brings that second outer zone, could go deeper into it. Keeps it safe and off the wall around that final front clip, dials it in. Pretty straightforward run. Nice fluidity like that. Definitely had good style. Didn't get all the way to the outer zone, but clean.
Yeah, good start here for Castro. You can see that e-brake pull initiation, now back on the throttle, pushing out towards this first touch and go. It's about 3-4 feet off there. Better job on that first outer zone. He does come up a little bit short on that second outer zone. You can see those standing pylons there indicating the entry point and exit point for that second outer zone. But he does clean up through the rest of the course there in that last inside clip, so it'll be a good run to get in the books here for Jonathan Castro, and one more yet to come here as we get through qualifying.
All right, so the very iconic backdrop here in Long Beach. Many different high-rise buildings and kind of different shapes and sizes. Very gothic looking hotel there as just off in the distance. So next up was to be Ken Gushi, who is one of the Formula Drift veterans, a handful of them who's been competing since day one, 2004. But there's Castro scoring 80. That's an 8-0, 80 for Jonathan Castro. But just hearing from the Gretty team and Toyota Racing team of Ken Gushi that they just swapped out the transmission and they are foregoing his first qualifying run. So that's basically, you know, putting all your eggs in one basket. You only got one run to get it done.
A lot of pressure for run number 2 for Ken Gushi there. He just needs to put a score on the table, but nonetheless, you have to hope that there's a, you know, functioning vehicle that he can operate with there, and I'm confident his team will be able to get him to the line. But yeah, definitely a lot of pressure here for run 2.
Yeah, so, and as I said, you cannot make it to head-to-head with 2 incomplete runs. So here we go. This is the debut of this brand new car, Matt Field, the beast from the Bay, and that Falcon Tires Wish Corvette. Great looking car. Oh, and big angle there, and comes to a halt, and that will be an incomplete run, unfortunately, for Matt Field. Oh man, that is not what I had expected or hoped for Matt Field.
So tough break for Matt Field there. The shakedown continues with the new vehicle, but he will have one more to go. Let's see if we can ascertain and dig into a little bit of what happened here. Just touching the cone coming out of the chicane. Snappy initiation, gets back on the throttle here. Let's see as he gets over to this touch and go. Big angle there, just never really brought it around.
I mean, just stood on it and just looped around.
Right there.
Yeah.
You can see he's just trying to get the car to transition back around. He's not able to do it in time and does need to pull out of the drift there. So tough break for Matt on run number 1, and he'll be getting an incomplete here as we move on to the next competitor.
And that's one of many. A lot of nerves running through the veins of these pilots. Again, Cameron Moore. We have that of right now Ken Gushi because of the mechanical, but Matt Field, man, unfortunate for him as well. So quite a few drivers having incomplete runs on their first run.
Okay, it's
all right.
It's 8, 4, 6,
Next up,
5, 4,
Alec Honadell, the Permatex O'Reilly Auto Parts S chassis.
5, 4, 3.
The Honadell Huddy Racing, Rain-X Permatex Nexon tires, as well as Hoonigan Fast Orange and Spray 9. This is Alec Honadell, who has really just progressed as a driver. I'd say every year, just getting better and better. Very dynamic, very fun, kind of no risk it, no biscuit kind of attitude. And right now he's going for it. Doesn't get all the way out to that outside zone, but now transitions into the second. Good fluid style, again, style equated to 40 points overall. Fluidity and commitment, well done. I like the impact here, Ryan.
So Alec Honadell, certainly a fan favorite here. You can see choosing for a different style of initiation, moving from that center lane, weight transfer in, great throttle control here, very smooth rotation. First touch and go into that first outer zone. Could have been a little bit deeper in that first outer zone, but you can see a little bit better job there in the second outer zone, though he does go a little bit long. Overall, a solid run, very smoky, very stylish, so good job there by Alec Honadell.
Seems like the fans like to hear in the building, Ryan. You hear him get loud?
Yeah, good Friday crowd here too. You know, everybody skipping work and coming out and doing some drifting here in Long Beach.
And they all got fired.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't bother showing up on Monday. You're fired. Okay, so again, we are waiting for the score of Honadell. Next up will be Alex Hilbrun. Brian, that's tough. That's a tough one for you. You'd always call Alex. You haven't done it in a while, but 87 for Alec. But I remember you used to Alec Hilbrun, Alex Honadell. But you haven't done that in a while.
Thanks.
Good job is what I'm saying. But these guys right next to each other. And Hilbrun, I heard somebody overheard him say he hasn't really been driving since Irwindale. So we'll see how that fares. He looked good earlier, you know, kind of a new livery, a new look. But the Inca Madness Racing, he calls it the Monster BMW, no affiliation to any energy drinks. Just it's a beast of a car. So hence the Monster BMW.
Well, and he had a smashing beginning of the season last year, not only here but also at the Grand Prix.
Yep. Yeah. So here we go. Hilbrun, who is so dominant in Pro 2 right now, gets up into the touch and go. Into that second outer zone. You can hear him just kind of massaging the throttle throughout. Big heavy lift there around that final front clip. Like the impact, like the fluidity.
Well, definitely a lot of aggression here. Let's take a look at this initiation. Watch the e-brake pull. He's on it for quite a while here. And then, boom, you can see the car sits down after he gets it on the throttle. He's going to make some contact with the wall here. It doesn't upset him too much. He could have been a little bit deeper into that first outer zone. Nice job there in that second outer zone as well. Very smoky run here for Alex Hilbrun. Nice smooth rotation through that final clip. Get to that last and final touch and go before the final inside clip. Let's take a look here as he just barely taps the wall. You see the bumper fly off, or excuse me, the trunk lift up there by Alex. And this is where he could have done just a tiny bit better through that first inside, or first outer zone rather, but overall a decent run for him. Good way to start it off.
Yeah, potentially scrubbing a little bit of speed there when he hit that touch and go and threw him off of his line. Quickly working our way through qualifying here. Again, few of the drivers will be getting by runs, so the qualifying spots very coveted for getting a fast pass into the top 16. Okay, waiting for Hilbrun's score again from Lima, Peru. Inca Madness Racing, IMR Nitto tires, M3. Supercharged V8. Definitely a ferocious car. Oh, waiting for his score. Like I said, really dominant. Podiumed every round of competition in Pro 2 a few years ago against his competitors. And there we go, Hilbrun score an 82. An 82 puts him into 5th position. So an 82 for Hilbrun. Next up, more teal and blue. This is JTP, Justin Pollock. A teal and blue scallops. One of those companies that have been around since day one. And a lot of familiar faces through the paddock, and Justin Pollock hasn't been competing since day one, but definitely aware of Formula Drift, but a long-time competitor, originally from Michigan, now living here in Southern California. Here comes JTP. Throws into the touch and go, throws some more attitude at it. Nice, into the first outer zone. Look at the car, very settled. Very poised into that final front clip. Do we have a new leader? What do you think?
Well, Justin Pollock mentioned in his off-season preparation he didn't want to make a lot of changes to the car. He wanted to just make some refinements because he really felt like he was coming in to a great level of comfort. Shows right here. That first outer zone there, great job in that second outer zone as well. You can see good fluidity here. Maybe just a couple minor things that he could have done a little bit better, but with Force Wing sitting at that 93, that is the standard to beat right here. Let's see what the judges think about Justin Pollock's run. All
right, so a 93, as Ryan said, is the score to beat. Do you guys think that's enough? Do you think JTP could be our new #1 qualifier? I know Force Wing has got a lot of fans out there. All right, so Justin awaits his score. And what does JTP have? The scores are in an 88, so no, he does not take out Force Wang, but a great score of 88 puts him in that #2 position. And that's a coveted spot too, given that, again, showing up with 30 cars, that is if all the vehicles throw down a score, you'll get that buy run. So next up, we have Chelsea Denofa, RTR Motorsports, a BC Racing, Nitto Tires, Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Happy birthday, Chelsea. It's your birthday, baby. Let's see if he can throw it down. Shred it, bro. Woo! Gets meanly into that touch and go. Exploding those taillights. This is Chelsea Denofa at his finest. He's got a rocket ship of a car. And Chelsea known for that high impact, literally and figuratively. Chelsea Denofa going for gold.
Well, this is what we've come to expect from Chelsea Denofa, basically wild and controlled chaos, but right here he's able to pull out of this tackle wall here. You can see he doesn't come too undone, but if he would have just been a little bit lighter there, he might have just scraped that touch and go and got a little bit deeper into that first outside zone, but nonetheless, very exciting run. You can certainly tell the difference in throttle control between Chelsea and some of the other drivers. Let's take a look at this again. Right there, you can see the wheel does not touch the wall, but you can see the back of the car crumpled the way that it was supposed to in design, but that did prohibit him from getting deeper into that first outer zone. Then he's back on it here. The car making all kinds of noise. You can see it dipping there as he's shifting gears. Great job by Denofa to stay composed in a very scary situation and get through this run generally undeterred overall.
Yeah, drivers and judges have come to know Chelsea Denofa for that high impact style. Like I said, literally high impact and, you know, figuratively speaking here. But Chelsea Denofa, an aggressive driver, almost forge line wheel deep into that touch and go area. But a lot of drivers are doing that. They're going too hard into that touch and go area. But Chelsea did have, like you said, the prowess to stay calm, stay cool, and get out to that first outer zone. So again, happy birthday to you, Chelsea Denofa. Let's see if you got a little birthday gift here. An 87 for Chelsea Denofa. You can see the scores there, 20, 29. Again, 30 points for line, 30 points for angle, and then 40 overall for style. Here's the three-time Formula Drift champion. Most recently, the 2016 season. This is Chris Forsberg. Originally from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And the NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z on Nexen tires. Running a VQ again this year. A very DIY season for him compared to previous years, working with previous teams, and now him and his team really thrashing on the car. They have a new series of Blackout Garage. You can see all the action of Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg as they operate out of the same transport and rig. They are essentially the Ryan and Chris show. Here we go. See a little nitrous being sprayed in the air. Let's see what the force has got. Chris Forsberg, the NOS Energy Drink 370Z on Nexen tires. Out to that touch and go. Into the first outer zone. Nice job there. Into the second outer zone. Keeps it fluid. You can hear him lifting off the throttle in and really close and tight to that final front clip. Very fluid and clean.
Very smooth here on the initiation by Chris Forsberg, and then shooting out towards his first touch and go. Getting right out to the tire marks there. Smooth transition back around. Great job on that first outer zone. Not touching the wall, but getting very, very close there. A solid performance here by Chris Forsberg. Sounds like he's pretty happy with the setup this year. Has had some time to do some testing and pretty confident in the vehicle, and it's showing right there on run number 1 from Forsberg.
All right, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach presented by Permatex. As we await Chris Forsberg's score. And we are going basically ascending order with, you know, the lowest ranked driver from last year starting first. That would be Forrest Wang, because he did not compete last year. He re-entered formative competition. And then the final driver in qualifying will be our champion from last year from Ireland. That is James Dean. So the number 64, Chris Forsberg, awaiting his score. All right, and Forsberg finishing, I believe, 11th, according to this qualifying and drivers list. Next up will be Matt Kaufman from Central Point, Oregon. All right, scores are in here for Forsberg. An 89 for Chris Forsberg. You can see a 24 line, 28 angle, and a 37. So a lot of points there for style for Forsberg. Again, style equating to 40%, 40 points overall of the 100-point score. All right, so as I said, Matt Kaufman, he's got the Ford V8 power plant under the hood of S13, just changing up the livery, maybe changing up the attitude. Here we go, Kaufman. When this guy's on, he is just so fun to watch. Let's see if he is turning it up here today. Kind of a quick transition out of that touch and go. Didn't spend a lot of time hanging it out at the touch and go, quickly getting through the course. And wraps it around that final clip. And there is Kaufman. Kaufman Racing, Thunderbolt Racing, Fuel, Achilles Radial, Nissan 240SX, S13.
Well, I love this initiation here. You can see big angle coming through that first corner, but really fails to get out to that first touch and go and the first outside zone. Tries to make some adjustments here. You can see he goes a little bit shallow on that second outer zone as well. So he's going to have quite a few deductions in the line and angle category, just because those areas were not the best that he can do for sure. So he'll have another run to take a stab at it there, but definitely some corrections that he can improve on in run number 2.
All right, so put him in a Kaufman, waits for his score. Ryan Turkey Leg, Ryan Turk will be up next. Like I said, Kaufman, very, very fun driver to watch. He had some just fantastic moments last year, and he is, I feel like, one to watch. All right, waiting for Kaufman's score. Working our way through, still to run. Again, if you're just tuning in, we are live here on the streets of Long Beach, the O'Reilly Auto Parts. Streets of Long Beach presented by Permatex. Round 1 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. I'm Jared Dienda. Also with me is Ryan Sage, as well as Ryan Lontaine will join us tomorrow, as well as Lorette Nickel. Lorette Nickel join us once again, and she will be giving us some insight in what's going on down in the pits, on the grid, or anything down here in the Formula Drift action. Kaufman with a 66, so leaving quite a few points on the board. Line, you can see lacking 20 points there overall. Angle lacking 7, but next up, Ryan Turk. Ryan Turk, gum out, Black Magic, Nexen tire, Toyota Racing, Toyota 86. And notably, that vehicle, it's the, he built with gum out in conjunction the GT4586, which is the Ferrari 458 under the hood of a Toyota 86. Here we go. But right now, it's about this 2J powered Toyota 86. This is Ryan Turk. Into that touch and go. Doesn't go all the way out there, but works it to that first outer zone. Well played by Ryan Turk. And around that final clip, Ryan?
Yeah, so Turk here starting off pretty solid as well. Let's take a look at the initiation for him. It's a straight line approach. Snaps into a little bit of a hiccup there. Gets back on the throttle. Trying to reach out to this touch and go. Pretty good job on that first outer zone. As he locks into the angle here, starts to draw the line around from the first outer zone into the second outer zone. Now out to that touch and go. And then right there, nice and tight on that final inside clip. So decent start here from Ryan Turk. As we make our way through the list, and James Dean will be our last one in run number 1 here today.
Very unique livery. You could see that Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg signifying not only Drift Alliance teammates, but operating at their vehicles at the same. They kind of have that signature line down their front bumper in high-vis yellow, high-vis orange on both of their vehicles. And last night was the debut of a Race Service, which Race Service is where they film their Blackout Garage show that lives on the internet. So check that out, Blackout Garage, featuring Forsberg and Turk. You could see kind of a, I don't want to say a day in the life, but just kind of hanging out with those guys and seeing what goes into being a pro drifter, either traveling the world or building and prepping their cars for Formula Drift competition. And Ryan Turk with an 89, so he bests his teammate Chris Forsberg. He says, "Gum, get out of here." So again, an 89 there for Ryan Turk. He puts him into second position. Peter Vincik from Poland, the Wordhouse Falcon tire, Nissan Silvia S15. Almost identical vehicle to that of last year's champion of James Dean, but just alternating colors of roofs and stripes. But Peter Vincik, our winner from the most recent Formula Drift round, and that is Irwindale last year. So Peter Vincek, woo, nice job there from him. Gets out that touch and go, works it into the first outer zone. You can hear him just standing on the throttle, putting that 2J through the paces. You can still see, again, Forrest Wang is still our current leader. Is that enough to take him out?
I think this is going to be a big score here.
Yeah.
Take a look at all the nuance here in this run. Watch the initiation right here. He snaps right to it. The tires are rolling in the back. He only hits the e-brake for just a second there, then gets back on the throttle. Smooth right here. Great transition from that first touch and go into the first outer zone. Very clean line here. The throttle control is really awesome. Gets back to that touch and go, and then right there through that last inside clip, the line is just absolutely perfect. So I think this is definitely going to contend up there, and we'll see if Forrest Wang and his run holds there. But this is a great performance by Peter Vincek, the last guy to win an event here in the championship with his win in Irwindale. A strong performance there.
Yeah, Peter Vincek, we knew he kind of had it in him because he's a European drifting champion. He joined forces with James Dean, got James Dean basically the funding and put the team together, and right there, boom, a 96, Peter Vincek, our #1 qualifier. Peter Vincek, our #1 qualifier. Can he, I'd like to think that he's carried this confidence all the way from last October, but I think he's been, I know he's been driving a lot, and seat time definitely helps. But I do tend to think that, okay, now he's experiencing Long Beach for the second time, so there's got to be some confidence there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, a lot of what we see here in qualifying has manifested itself in practice already, and he was looking very solid there.
Here we go, the ESSA Auto Sports BMW of Michael Essa on Achilles radials. Quickly get ignited. Transition, well done there. Very smooth there from Essa. I know Essa over the years, his driving's kind of just evolved and changed. He used to be really just big and snappy, and I would say that was just a nice, good, consistent, fluid run.
Yeah, I mean, after Peter's run, you can tell a little bit of the difference here. This is a very strong run by Michael Essa, but it's not going to be up in the 93 or 96 range, and you can see why right here. It's a good job by Essa getting to that touch and go in that first outer zone, but not all the way as deep as you possibly can, and not as strong as you possibly can into that second outer zone, and then making a little bit of contact there. And that's where you're going to get those extra 5 or 8 points, maybe 10 points potentially, that's going to bump you up from an 85 into a 90. So we'll see how this goes for Michael Essa, but nonetheless a strong performance and a good start for him.
All right, so Michael Essa, a former Formula Drift champion. He was behind the wheel of a BMW. He switched to a different vehicle, and now back at the helm of another BMW. All right, so supercharged ESSA Auto Sports Achilles tire, BMW M3. Getting into not quite top 5, but top 6. And there's Essa's score. Boom, an 86. An 86 puts him into 8th position for Michael Essa. Next up, another Formula Drift champion, Daijiro Yoshihara, also a Formula Drift veteran since day 1. The Turn 14 distribution Falcon tire, Subaru BRZ. This thing is a beast. Turbocharged V8 as looks like we got some signage knocked off there. Clean up in aisle 1. Turns 9, 10, 11 of the Indy course. As Daijiro Yoshihara on the start line. Dai Yoshihara finishing 7th last year. And there is our Fast Orange qualifying leaderboard. Peter Vincek, 96. Wang with a 93. Turk with an 89. Forsberg with an 89. And Pollock with an 88. Where is Daijiro Yoshihara gonna land? Lights up the Falcon tires into that first touch and go area in the first outer zone. Those bright white wheels showing you minimal to no corrections. Throwing some more angle at it, nice job. Dai Yoshihara, a Formula Drift veteran, showing you why he can still hang with the best.
Well, the other finalist in the final event at Irwindale last year, Daijiro Yoshihara, strong performance from him to end the season. You can see here just a tiny bit of struggling there, trying to find grounding with the vehicle, but the second part of this run here, much better. Gets through that first outer zone. A little bit long here as he transitions back around from that second outer zone into the last touch and go and that final inside clip there from Daijiro Yoshihara. So we'll see where that puts him up. Looks like it, I'm guessing maybe in the mid-80s.
Yeah, I think that's a fair estimation. All right, so awaiting Yoshihara's score. As I said, the weather down here today, absolutely stunning. Perfect day. Just a slight breeze, just enough wind to clear the smoke out so it doesn't linger like the cranberries. And taking a look, tomorrow it looks like 67, sunny all day. Thumbs up emoji right there. Boom. All right, so Dai Yoshihara, scores are in. 88. An 88 for Dai Yoshihara, turn 14. Distribution, Falcon Tire, Subaru BRZ, puts him into number 5 position. All right, next up, the HGK BMW E92 Eurofighter. Great looking car. He's on Achilles radials, Mass Motorsports V8. Added some high-vis yellow, but still kept it naked. Put a little bit of clothes on, but the carbon Kevlar Eurofighter, this thing is a beast. We saw this thing debut at Irwindale last year. It was basically just to be put on for show, but brought it out of the stable. And here it is on its maiden voyage here in the streets of Long Beach. Christoph Splush. Look at that power bulge there on the hood. You know this thing's got a serious heart under the skin of this vehicle.
And if you haven't had a chance to watch the story of what transpired at Irwindale, you should definitely do that. It's on Christoph's YouTube page. Let's take a look at the run here. Nice job through that touch and go. Pretty good job there in that first outer zone. Could have been a tiny bit deeper. You can really see the vehicle movement here with the new markers on the wheels there. It gives you an idea of when the braking is occurring, especially here on Christoph's car. So great job by Christoph. A pretty smooth run. Was able to fill most of the zones. Had a great line. And his throttle control was pretty consistent there with very minimal braking. So great job by Christoph overall. And we'll see where that locks him into the first run of qualifying.
That whole kit HGK builds, that carbon Kevlar thing, and it's just, I mean, it's all carbon Kevlar, and I like what he did. Just you know, I have to say the high vis yellow kind of makes that front bumper pop. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Ryan, what's kind of your favorite looking car out here? That's purely based off aesthetics. Oh, real quick, Christoph's an 88, another 88. So Christoph Splush with an 88 from Latvia in that HGK BMW E92 Eurofighter.
You know, I haven't really had time to fully digest, you know, looking at every single vehicle this year so far. I had a few cars last year that I thought were really cool and stylish, but you know, I think I still need to let it sink in, everything that I've seen so far this year. A lot of times, you know, when we're getting cars into tech and things like that, we don't really get a chance to fully inspect the vehicles until, you know, the first vent has really, you know, gone through. You see it on live stream, you see it live, you see photos of it. So. And
unfortunately, the cars, that's the best they're going to look is at tech, because the rest of the year they're going to get thrashed on, admittedly. Well, I know a driver that wants to throw down here is Vaughn Gittin Jr. in that Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Woo! Getting it all the way out to that second outer zone. RTR ready to rock, wraps around that final clip. Great execution. Is that enough to take down Peter Vincic? That was a darn good run there, Ryan.
Yeah, strong run here, but I don't think it's going to take down Peter. You can see here on initiation, Vaughn is full throttle, just like his teammate Chelsea, out to that touch and go. Right here, he does miss that first outer zone by quite a bit there. But this is a very aggressive full throttle run, very stereotypical of Vaughn and Chelsea, these two teammates that just mesh so well together. It's going to be a good run. It's going to be a nice score for Vaughn, but he's certainly going to have an opportunity to fix a little bit of what happened at outside zone number 1 on run number 2.
All right, so Vaughn awaiting his score. And yeah, I know Vaughn from Annapolis, Maryland. As scores are in for Vaughn. 84, and 84 for Vaughn puts him into the 11th position, and finishing overall last year in 4th. He wants to get into that championship position once again. The sophomore season for those vehicles that really kind of changed the game as far as a setup, and very loose setup, hitting their 3-wheel motion that has kind of become their signature move for the Brostangs of Chelsea and Vaughn. And right now finishing 3rd overall last year. One to watch in my eyes. Just a very proven driver, now just changing the looks a little bit, but a very similar car to last year. And oh my goodness, Odi Bakshis going into the wall. Very, is that the announcer's curse, where you start talking, giving all these accolades, and then goes into the wall? That's unfortunate there for Odi Bakshis, Ryan.
Yeah, not something you see very often. We'll have to take a look at what happened there, but that's not something that we typically expect from Odi. Let's take a look at the initiation here. Snaps into it, and then right here, it looks like he's just pushing a little bit too hard, or maybe he got the line just off a tiny bit there, and that's all it took. Luckily, he had the tire wall there to protect him, and he does sustain more minimal damage to the vehicle as opposed to going into the concrete wall, but it will be an incomplete for Odi on run number 1, and he'll have to go out and try to lay down a solid run on run number 2. There it is right there. You can see just the initiation and the line seemed to play a role there in him making contact with the tire wall. Let's take a look at it from this angle here. You can see right there he's going to tap it, and thankfully he did not go into the wall, just a little brush right after that, so hopefully minimal damage to the vehicle. Better
hitting that tire wall than the actual wall. So all the cosmetics I said he added, including the blister flares and the S15 front end, so the S14.5 aesthetic. That will be an incomplete run for Odi Bakshis, who again finished very respectively in just a knockdown, drag him out year last year, finishing third overall. As thank you to Cal Club and all the corner workers and track crew for keeping us safe and sound. All right, so again, this is the first round of 8. Next stop for us, we'll be heading to Orlando, Florida, then continue on to Atlanta. But Orlando, it's hot, it's sweaty, but we're gonna even throw some more heat at it.
Down here on the course at Orlando Speed World. Now what this track is known for is the bank and the figure 8 down here on the flat surface. But there's also a section of this course that's very challenging for drivers, and that's this piece from inside clip 1 to inside clip 2, where you have this whoop section, literally jumps that drivers have to navigate over, and at speed they can literally catch air. It can be very challenging for the drivers. We see a lot of contact here. Battles are won and lost in this area.
Past the second front clip, and Osbo's right there.
Osbo making a statement here in the final 4 inches away from Vaughn Gittin Jr. as they cross the finish line. And maintaining great mimic all the way through.
Essa just allowing a little bit of distance between him and Dai Yoshihara in that transition. Osbo showing some dominance here, falls back a little bit here, and then Vaughn Gittin Jr. past the second front clip, and Osbo's right there.
And there you go. You can see tickets available now. Go to formulad.com or download the app and get your tickets that way. Get all things Formula Drift on your Formula Drift app. Also, if you're here in the building, we do have a dedicated autograph session that is scheduled to be at 4 o'clock. But right now, as you can see, not what you'd expect. Frederick Osbo, the hood is popped on his Rockstar energy drink, next entire Toyota Corolla. So, yeah, let's take a look. I mean, Ryan, uncharacteristically, a lot of these drivers, turn one has claimed some victims.
And it always does. You know, it just depends on the severity. You can see Alex Hilbrun there. You can see Denofa getting into it. And, you know, a lot of this is what comes with Long Beach. We kind of expect this. And here we just saw Odi Bakshis. And this track is one of the toughest to start off with at the beginning of the year because you've got your brand new vehicle, you've sweated through the off season, and you're throwing it 80 miles per hour into a concrete wall. But these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing. They'll come back out there. They'll get that second run down. And we will have a full field of competition for tomorrow for head-to-head. But here's a guy that gave the biggest challenge, it seemed, towards the latter part of the season. It was clearly between Frederick Osbo and James Dean. Osbo bested Dean in Montreal, and the battle was really on there. It would be Dean that would get the victory at the end of the year in terms of the championship. But Osbo is back and focused, and he had a lot of things to say during media day in terms of his team's preparation, what they've done with the vehicle, and just how mentally prepared and ready he is to fight for a championship this season. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. You said it so well. Only thing I would add is, you know, how is he going to fare with building a new car? You know, I mean, that's kind of risky. All right, so here we go. Frederick Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer, Rockstar energy drink, next entire Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla into the touch and go. Does not get all the way out there, really kind of middle of the road. Now maxing out the angle into that second outer zone. Now bring it on in to the final front clip. And there it is, Frederick Osbo, the maiden voyage for that Toyota Corolla.
So a bit of a conservative run here for Osbo. You can see coming through the chicane there and into initiation. He's not going to get as deep out to the touch and go as the judges would like to see, and that obviously prohibits him from getting deep out to that first outer zone. The second outer zone better there, and as he does his final transition to this last inside clip, he's back online here. So decent start for Osbo. Not the run that we would typically see, but maybe he's saving it for run number 2. Nonetheless, he will get a score and be slotted into the top 32 for tomorrow.
All right, so Osbo awaiting his score, and then we will have our final qualifying driver, but this is only run 1. We've only completed, again, this is the first run for all the drivers. Osbo with an 80, an 8-0. That is an 80 for Osbo, puts him into the 15th position as it stands. So James Dean, his first qualifying run, but we will go back to the top of the order. But this is your defending champion. He won here last year. Can he do it again? The Machine is his nickname, and rightfully so. Just seems to have a system down, dials it in, a lot of seat time. If you follow a lot of these drivers on social media, you'll see, you know, a lot of, you know, off-season activities, either driving, creating content, building other cars, doing other stuff. James Dean seems to always be throwing it sideways anywhere across the globe. As Ryan Sage was saying earlier, kind of a Daigo-esque, you know, influence on what he did here last year in Formula Drift. Here we go, the Wordhouse Drift Team, Falcon Tires, Sylvia S15, James the Machine Dean, your defending champion. Gets out to that touch and go, works it, woo! Nice in time to that first outer zone and then into the second. Now bringing it to that final front clip. Could he take out his teammate, Peter Vincik, with a 96? Again, Vincik with a 96 on his first qualifying run. Is that enough, Ryan?
Well, you know, the momentum, I guess, really hasn't stopped so far for James Dean. Here it is. Let's take a look at this. I mean, basically perfect on the touch and go. Smooth over that first outside zone. The wheels have a lot of forward movement there. He's not braking. You can see great momentum there. The car is really settled right through that last inside clip. Looked very much like Peter's run. And between the 93 that we have from Forrest Wang and the 96 from Peter Vincek, I have to imagine this is going to be right up there. I mean, that was a near perfect run from James Dean. Not much to criticize, and we'll have to see what the judges think as well.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is like, let's start splitting hairs here. Did you see any mistakes? You know, I was looking at the front wheels. Were there any corrections? Did he have any wavering? There was really none. I mean, could this potentially be a perfect run? Could this be 100? We haven't seen one of those in a while. Why do you laugh? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure why I'm laughing, but you asked an interesting question. I don't know. That's a good question. No, I think the last one we saw was Reese Millen, maybe in 2000, and no,
Tanner had one.
Tanner had one too. Yeah.
No,
there you go.
He does not. But a 96 still, and that puts him into the #1 position, I believe. Yeah, okay. So I said that Vincek had a 98. I apologize. I read that incorrect. He has a 96, correct? All right, yeah.
Yes.
So again, as it stands right now, those guys both 96s. But when we come back, we're gonna take a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere if you're here in the building, and if you're at home, don't go anywhere. We're just gonna take a short break. A few messages from our sponsors. Run 2 qualifying for all the drivers. We'll kick it off with Forrest Wang. This is round 1 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach, presented by Permatex. When we come back, run 2 for all our Formula Drift drivers here in qualifying.
on, baby. We are here for round 2 or run 2 for the qualifying drivers. Again, Streets of Long Beach. This is the O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach presented by Permatex. This is round 1 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. And both of the Wordhouse Drift teams are just tuned in with the Wordhouse Drift team operating Peter Binsick and our defending champion team currently have 96. It's going to come down to their second run on how they fare, if they're going to hold that position or somebody else is going to knock them off. But we saw a great score out of the gate. You see that, a 93. So Forrest Wang in the top 3. A great re-entrance of him back into the Formula Drift competition and championship. A great way to start things off both for the season and for him, again, getting back into Formula Drift competition. But you can see 96, 96, 93, 89, 89, and here we go. Forrest Wang with his second run in that Fantasia Fuse Radial Energy Innovation. It'll be a S15. Well done there by Forrest Wang.
It's been pretty predictable today. Not a lot of surprises here, and I think a little bit of a mistake there on initiation for Forrest. They caused him a few points, but we'll see if that's can better than 93 or not.
Well, Forrest Wang always having a pretty stylish looking car, from the deep wheels, the stance, even down to the super duper body kit by Swift.
Performance, but again, picking up that sponsor Vaptasia. Achilles radials on the corners. Again, Nick and his team just coming in with the different kind of mindset from previous years. And no, he does not better at a 93 on his first run. Stands to be the better of the two. It's a 90 on his second run, which he is currently in the number 3 qualifying position. Remember to be sure to tag hashtag FDLB for Formage of Long Beach. Let everybody know you're out here. Keep the conversation going, both today and tomorrow. And right now, here's Van Kirk. He knocked over a cone, but it's not a head-to-head battle, so no big deal. All right, here we go. See if we can get filthy here on the streets of Long Beach. What do you got, Van Kirk? Into that second outer zone. He did get a score on his first run. Oh, a big wide swing there. Seems like carries way too much momentum. And admittedly, coming from that second outer zone into that final front clip, the surfaces do change. So it is definitely a blessing that it's not raining.
Oh boy, yeah, that would be a big issue.
Yeah, we've seen that.
So sitting on his 70 here, looking to back that up. You can see still struggling a little bit, not really willing to take the full risk of getting out to the touch and go areas, but he is going to be in competition tomorrow. Can focus a lot of his tandem practice on really getting comfortable in the vehicle. And so Matt Van Kirk ends his day there. We'll see where he comes in with his final score, but he's currently looking to better a 70.
All right, so Van Kirk waiting for his second run score. So Van Kirk with a 70 on his first run. Is that enough to better it? Where is he going to land? Where is he going to stand? And no, he does not. A 67 on his second run. So his first run has him in the number 18 position with a score of 70. So Van Kirk with a 70. Kazuya Taguchi, a longtime competitor in Japan, now bringing his talents over here with this Jerry Yang Racing GTR. He has a 0 on his first run. Can he put it down here on his second? This is a do or die for him. Is he going to be seeing head-to-head competition on his Formula Drift USA debut? Comes into view of the judges into that touch and go. Oh no, that's a similar line that he took. Did not hang it out long enough. And around that final front clip.
Well, Jared, you can hear some of his fellow Japanese fans over here screaming in anticipation, make sure that he doesn't get an incomplete on this run, and it looks like he is going to avoid the incomplete. You can see the transition back there almost forced him off course. He did put that left front up off the course a little bit here, but he does not, I think, make any move on the track that justifies an incomplete, so it looks like he should be in competition tomorrow. That means a full day of tandem practice for him in order to get used to the vehicle and really set it up the way he wants to. So it looks like he will be in for tomorrow's show.
The whales always watching, judging, watching. Look at the drift car. Why are they such judgmental whales up there? If you don't know the background here of in Long Beach. What's that artist's name? Wayland? Wyland?
Yeah,
Wyland? Yeah.
I see you.
Ryan's making spouting noises up here. What's funny is that whale, so there's a scuba diver over there underneath it, but look how small his fin is. His top fin is tiny. If you pan left, is the massive whale, and his top fin is look at the orcas have bigger top fins. What are those? Dorsal fins? Dorsal fins. All right. So again, we are waiting for the scores. Download the app while you got a few moments. Live scoring, alerts and stats, exclusive FD content, breaking news alerts, get notifications, access to the free live stream, ability to buy tickets, fan rewards program, which is really cool, exclusive games, contests, video features, and just got an update too. I know I was looking over Ryan's shoulder and definitely looks really slick, the new update. So download it today. Brought to you by Blackmagic. This is the podium where they'll stand for next weekend's Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, as well as we will be having drifting here once again next weekend, both Friday and Saturday night. It's going to be 2 independent invitational top 8 rounds of competition. So it's independent of the Formula Drift Blackmagic Pro Championship, but you could see some more drifting Friday and Saturday. And the score for Taguchi is a 65. A 65 for Taguchi. All right, here we go. Dirk Stratton from Ohio. Stratton Chevrolet, Lingenfelter, Corvette. This thing is a beast. Woo! Nice job there. Flicked it into under the bridge. He's got a score on his first run, but can he better it? Listen to this thing. Wound up. Nice job there by the number 33 from Beloit, Ohio, excuse me. Dirk Stratton in that C6 Corvette.
Beast of a vehicle and a very strong driver here. Great initiation there. You can see not a lot of hesitation. Does not push out to that touch and go, but snaps back around for that first outer zone. Pretty good job here. Could have been a tiny bit deeper into that second outer zone, but overall, solid performance here by Dirk Stratton. He had a good score on run number 1. It was an 83, so now looking to better that. He may have just done it. We'll see what the judges think here as they take in everything they saw from Dirk and input their scores here on his final run of the day.
The Stratton family, again, coming from Ohio, a family affair. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with Dirk and his dad, Mr. Stratton. Just cool cats, man. Just really love what they do and how they do it. And I always admire that, just the family affair operations. If it's husband and wife or father and son or mom, you know, the Honadales, they're out here supporting Alec. But and look at that, he does better it. So Dirk Stratton, an 86 on his second run, puts him into number 11 position. Higher tiered vibes. All right, so also may it be noted that Taguchi, the previous GTR, he did get a score on that second run, so we will see him in head-to-head. So that's he's counting his blessings there. All right, here we go. Federico, again, this twin supercharged V12 599 Ferrari. All right. Nice job there by Federico into the second outer zone. Nitto tires ablaze, approaching that final front clip. Again, another wide sweep there. Seems like just cannot get that tighty around that final front clip, but Federico, does he better his first score?
I think this is definitely a better performance in run number one. I mean, it's not easy to throw a $250,000 car at walls at 80 miles per hour, but he does look a bit more comfortable here. See the touch and go? A little bit of a hesitation coming back around to that first outer zone rather, but much smoother through that second outer zone. I think this will improve on his last performance here. You can see he's kind of shaking out the cobwebs a little bit, getting used to it, getting used to throwing that car right into walls. So overall for Federico, I think a strong start here in Long Beach for him.
All right, so we are, popping and locking down there. Seems like Taguchi's car getting a little wild out there. 4 o'clock dedicated autograph session. Assuming we end on time. And there's Federico's score. Boom, an 81. Brian, you called an 81 there for Federico.
Making claim.
Sharifo.
Claiming hard.
There's a new sheriff in town. He's Italian and he drives a Ferrari. There's not enough room for all of us. Federico. If that's your real name, Federico. All right, here we go. This is Austin Meeks, and if I can recall, Austin Meeks did get, right? Is he sitting on a 0 or an incomplete run? The Galp Achilles Radial committed service brand. S chassis bringing it around, LS powered. And it looks like, yes, come on Meeks. And does get a score on the board. Austin Meeks squeaks his way into head-to-head competition.
So it's been a tough morning for Austin Meeks. Put the right rear of the vehicle into outer zone number 2, the left rear into touch and go number 1. But now finally on his second run, he comes back here, throws down a pretty solid yet conservative run. It'll get him into tomorrow's competition, and really that's all that matters here. So great job by Austin Meeks as we take a look back at what happened to him here this afternoon. This is coming into practice time. Here's the first one. Now he comes back from this, and then on the second run, he hits the left rear into that first touch and go. So Austin Meeks has had a challenging weekend so far, and that should give you an idea of just how well prepared he's been and the team has been in order to get the vehicle back out there performing, and great mental fortitude from him to be able to pull off that run here on the second run of qualifying.
Fortunately for Meeks, and if one ever gets into an accident or a tussle into the wall, if it's either the tires or the concrete, you know, don't go full on spread and hit the back end, you know, the not so critical parts, as opposed to you know, the suspension. You know, you need that angle, you need to get all that, and then obviously the engine. And there's Austin Meeks' score, 78, a 78 on his second run, puts him into number 19 qualifying position. So Austin Meeks, congratulations, you'll be seeing head-to-head competition. And he is a Formula Drift Pro rookie compared to again competing in Pro 2. Here we go. This is Kevin Lawrence. Kevin Lawrence and Juku Racing. Next in tires, R32. And well done there by Kevin Lawrence, ripping through the course.
Well, the Pro 2 champion looking to make a name for himself here in pros, starting off pretty strong. You can see that initiation, grabs some e-brake, now trying to flow out to that touch and go. Misses it by quite a few feet there, but brings it back around. Not the full snappy rotation that you want to see into that first outer zone, but nonetheless, the score on the board for Kevin Lawrence. He'll also be into tomorrow's competition.
All right, so Kevin Lawrence awaiting his score. Next up is Farouk. And Farouk, originally from Poland, in his BMW. The Reckless Racing E92. He is up next as K-Law, Kevin Lawrence, and Juku Racing, R32. Hopefully we'll see his vehicle in Orlando, which is going to be, you know, closer to his hometown. And we'll see his S chassis. And there it is, a 71 on his second score. Does better a 68 on his first, and he is currently in 20th position. So these guys, you know, maybe getting the jitters out, tapping the wall, getting it in, and now just kind of finding their sweet spot. So Kevin Lawrence, K-Law will be seeing head-to-head competition as Farouk has a go on his second run. Reckless Racing E92. Let's see what Farouk can throw down here. And into the first turn and the touch and go. Doesn't go all the way out there. He has a 66 on his first run. So you can see him on the leaderboard. Farouk, bit of straightening there, but then brings it around that final clip. And there is Farouk's second run. Does that better a 66 run?
I think it does. You can see here he kind of tightened up some of the areas where he struggled. He's still a little bit tight, I think, coming into initiation here and on that transition to that last inside clip. But overall, better performance here, especially through the center section and that first outer zone. Nice fluid line here through the second section. Right here, he does a little bit of a hold up, like you said, almost straightens, but I think it keeps enough angle in the vehicle through that last inside clip, and I do believe it will better his run number one.
Like a drum snare.
All right, Farouk awaiting his score. Next up will be Radical Daniel, Dan Burkett. Daniel's son Burkett as the lone Toyota Supra in Formula Drift competition. Great looking car. Okay, as Farouk awaiting his score. Good buzz here. And awaiting Farouk's score, and there it is, a 79 on his second. That does better a 66 on his first run. So Farouk finds himself currently in 19th position. Tight, keeping it tight. And there you go, the next entire shrouded Toyota Supra. Rad Industries, his own company here in Southern California, again originally from Washington. And here comes Dan Burkett. Looks really fluid on his first run. See if he's gonna ask for a little bit more. difficulties with some audio issues, but thank you for your patience there. Just want to get that rectified so we could be our tour guides for what's about to unfold here. If saw those commercials, we are into the second qualifying runs. The second qualifying runs of Formula Drift round 1. I can hear you. Can you close your mic? Can you close your mic, Tim, please? All right, so I believe we are. So where we left off, we had, I believe, Dan Burkett. All right, so let's take a look at Burkett's last battle. And here is Ryan, walk us through here. Burkett.
Yeah, solid run from Dan. Unfortunately, got a little overshadowed by the problems that we were having here, but a great performance from him. He had a strong run in run number 1, and now coming back out in run number 2 and really laying it down. So really seeing him with confidence and just a very fluid flow all the way through for the most part from Dan, and just improving run after run. So good start for him overall, and we'll see where that score locks in for him in run number 2.
Yeah, just a very refined driving style from Dan Burkett from last year to this year. Somebody to really root for. You know, the lone super here. You know, a lot of the guys are privateers in itself, but Dan Burkett, kind, nice guy, and a unique car. Always definitely, you know, striving to make his car look even better and better every year. So Dan Burkett. And I believe we should have his score. All right, so Dan Burkett with an 82. Dan Burkett with an 82 on his second run. Ryan, what did he get on? 83 an 83 on his first run. So an 83 will stand to be the better of the two. His first run score is the better of the two. So with Dan Burkett finishing out his second run, next up would be Kyle the Menace Mohan. Kyle Mohan from right here in Long Beach, California. American Ethanol. Kyle Mohan Racing. Mazda Tricks. Nexen Tires. It's MX-5. And you can see him there on the start line. And now we go. Here we go. Kyle Mohan for his second qualifying run in this Mazda MX-5. Coming to view of the judges. And he did have an incomplete run on his first run. Mohan needs to complete this in order to advance on into the head-to-head, and Mohan, a slight lift there, but keeps it sideways around that final front clip.
And a much better job for Kyle this time around. He had that incomplete on run number 1, so he will make it into tomorrow's competition. So big up to Kyle Mohan here, one of Long Beach's finest. Finishing up the course, wrapping around this last inside clip and getting it done here in Long Beach as we make our way through the final run of qualifying here.
All right, so Mohan awaits his score, and what's great about that, again, he did have an incomplete on his first run, so he will get a score on the second, which will allow him into head-to-head competition. And there it is. A 78 for Kyle Mohan. So a 78 for Kyle Mohan. All right, sending the next car here, and that will be Cameron Moore. Now, Cameron Moore, like I said, he had kind of an Austin Meeks type of day as well, having some issues with his vehicle, got into the wall. Hopefully got the issues worked out. Doesn't get all the way out to that touch and go, but now keeps it between the walls, which is much better than what happened previously. But Cameron Moore, the butcher, around that final clip. And Cameron Moore puts it down here on his second run.
So some of these guys with incompletes now getting a completed run in run number 2, finding their way into competition. And here's Cameron Moore. You can see pretty conservative approach here. He knows strategically it doesn't really matter to go out and lay down that 96-point run. Just getting into tomorrow's competition, giving yourself ample time in the head-to-head battles, or excuse me, the head-to-head practice prior to the battles is what you are looking to spend a lot of your quality time on in competing with these drivers. And so there you go, Cameron Moore moving into the top 32.
And Ryan, you talk about those incomplete runs. There were 7 in total that had incomplete runs out of their first run. So a lot of drivers need to step up, and everybody has done that, including Mohan and now that of Cameron Moore. But another person we need to look at is Gucci, Ken Gucci. The swapped out his transmission, and they did not have a go at their first run. So hopefully they can get it back together and get it going here for his second run. And there it is, 67, a 67. So not a dynamic score, but a score that will find him into head-to-head competition. You see 12 out of 30 in line, 21 out of 30 on angle, and 34 out of 40 on style. Puts him in number 24 position. Cameron Moore with a 67. And another driver that has an incomplete run on his first run is Jeff Jones. He needs to put down a score here. The Doc X Falcon Nissan 370Z from right here in LA, California. This is Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones into the touch and go. Transitions into that first outside zone. In that second, looks a lot more calm, and the car looks rough and ready here. Well done by Jeff Jones.
So Jeff Jones, another one of our drivers, making it through into the top 32 tomorrow. You can see here initiates big long e-brake pull, but again, he just needs to lay down a nice conservative run here, get some points on the board, get that preparation ready for tomorrow, as we will have a tandem practice in the morning leading in right into top 32, then halftime in the top 16. And here's one of the boys that'll be joining the pack tomorrow for top 32, Jeff Jones.
right, and Jeff Jones' score was a 75. Jeff Jones does receive a 75 as we will advance. Castro. Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic. You can see him waiting in the wings. Castro just behind the start line there, waiting to have his go on his second qualifying run. The Jadot Metaldom warming up his GT86 and his tires here. Jonathan Castro getting ready, as Castro on his first run had taken a look and see if he can better his second run. Castro, I believe, had an 80. You can see our leaderboard there, Vincic, yeah, and there it is, Castro with an 80. Here we go, Jonathan. So leaderboard right now, Vincic and Dean tied with that 96. How are they going to do on their second run right now? Castro wants to throw down under the bridge into that first outer zone, into the second. And Castro brings it around. Ryan, do you think that's a little bit better than an 80?
Yeah, it may be. It's a good run here by Jonathan Castro. You can see he gets on that e-brake for a very short period of time. Pretty much gets out to the touch and go, but could have done a little bit better. You can tell the differences between the high 80s and low 90 runs and the mid 80s and low 80 runs. And it's really about the touch and go and getting out to the walls and just that fluid transition. So Jonathan Castro, good solid run here. We'll see if it betters his score, but he definitely is improving run by run.
Yeah. All right, so Castro awaiting his score. Can he better an 80? And almost halfway through here, the second run for the remaining drivers. Again, if you're just tuning in, we are live here at the O'Reilly's Auto Parts, Streets of Long Beach, presented by Permatex. Round 1 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Hashtag FDLB. Download the app, and also a lot of photos and videos out there. If you're watching from home, tag us, hashtag FDLB. Let us know you're watching, or if you're here in the building. There's Castro's score, an 84, so he does just knock it up quite a bit. An 84 puts him into number 13 position, so better than his score of an 80 on his first run. Okay, and this is great. See Ken swapping out the transmission, but let's see if he can put down a score. He needs to do this in order to see head-to-head competition. And let's see what he's got. His Gretty Performance, Toyota Racing, Falcon Tires, Toyota GT86, and Ken Gucci does not look phased. And he will be getting a score. Yep, there it is. So right on. A little bit of a, you got to think that he's feeling the nerves without having that first run.
Well, no pressure there for Ken Gucci at the end of the day. He was able to get through this here, and even with the one lap opportunity, able to lay down a pretty solid run, Jared. You can see right out towards that first outer zone. Great job on that second outer zone. Very smooth here by Ken Gucci, and certainly showing his veteran status here as he finishes up and crosses the finish line.
He joins the ranks of the Falcon Tires team with which is funny because going full circle. Ken Gucci was a pup when he started back in 2004. Now he's grown into a fine young man. That's Kenshiro Gucci, but back on Falcon Tires because he hasn't been on them in quite some time. But that's where he started his career at. So it's kind of funny. Going full circle, but Ken Gucci and the Gretty Performance Products Toyota Racing Toyota GT86 awaits his score, and there it is, an 86 on his second run. Coincidental, an 86 puts him into number 11 position in qualifying. All right, so right now we got Matt Field, and Matt Field had an incomplete run on his first run on the debut of this brand new Falcon Tires Wish Corvette. So let's see what we got here. The Borla exhaust blowing through, Vortex supercharger. That's where he rotated last time. Now he's past the point of no return. The Beast from the Bay. Want to see this thing in head-to-head competition. I know he's got a lot of friends and family cheering him on. And there it is, Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay. We'll be seeing head-to-head competition. That was do or die for Field, and he gets a score.
And he did there. Matt Field coming through with the pressure of an incomplete on run number 1 and getting through this run here. And you know, we've seen a lot of guys take it pretty conservative on those runs in run number 2 where they had an incomplete in run number 1. Field plays it pretty aggressively here. It looks like it'll be a nice strong score for him. He does still want to get as high as he possibly can in order to get the best possible positioning. So great job by Matt Field here in that Corvette debut.
All right, so where he finds himself, we will find out momentarily. Next up will be Alec Honadell from Destin, Florida. Honadell, Huddy Racing, Rain-X, Permatex, Nexen Tires, and Hoonigan. And the Permatex green S14. Been running that supercharged LS for quite some time and has really made a name for himself over the few years that he's been competing in Formula Drift. All right, so and there it is, a 91. Wow, look at that big score there for Matt Field. A 91 for Matt Field puts him into the number 4 position. Number 4 position there for Matt Field. Okay, so here it is, Alec Honadell, car number 118. And on the first run, Honadell had an 87 on his first run, which is not too shabby of a score. But just knowing Honadell wants to better it, as all the guys do. So can he join the ranks in that 90s club? Remember, 2 non-consecutive runs, we take the better of the 2. Line accounts for 30 points of the 100. Angle, 30 points for the 100. And style is 40 points. All right, here comes Alec Honadell. Whoa, little shimmy shake there into the first corner. Into the touch and go. Wow, look at the smoke just billowing off the back of that S14. Coming all the way from Florida. And now putting it down. Let's see what he's got here. A big heavy lift. You can see the smoke signals coming off the back saying he's standing on the throttle, but also when he lifts, you see a lack of smoke.
Well, again, Alec Honadell, incredibly aggressive driver, but able to maintain that precision here, getting out to that touch and go. Very fluid movement over to that first outside zone. Incredible there, and very deep into that second outer zone. Nice transition here. You can just see the fluidity and the commitment is right there on the style aspects. And when we're looking at areas of the course that are not in those zones and clips, that's really going to help his style score overall. So great job by Alec Honadell.
Yeah, you're right. That brings up a great point. You know, some time ago when we started this the presentation here, bringing in Lantain and breaking down compared from last year to this year, they had more of an ideal line recommended last year. Now it's kind of here are your zones. What you do in between really defines your style, and if you're going to get all or nothing of the 40 points in the judging criteria. So Honadell, as the wind blows, the palm trees swing, and Honadell waits for his score. And it is an 89, so he does better his first score, puts him into number 5 position, so just outside that 90s club. But it's an 89 for his second run. Gets Honadell up into the top 5. All right, next up, Alex Hilbrun from Lima, Peru. Inca Madness Racing, Nitto Tires, BMW M3, calls this the monster BMW. Supercharged, V8 under the hood. This thing's a rocket ship. Again, notably made a name for himself in Pro 2, podium every round of Pro 2 and winning as well. Look at this. A little feint entry into that touch and go. Doesn't go all the way out there. And a quick transition there in between the touch and go and the outside zone. Oh, and a big rotation there from Hilbrun. But Hilbrun did have a score on his first, I believe so, maybe? Let's take a look at this again here.
So Hilbrun with an incomplete on run number 2 here. You can see very aggressive on the throttle, does not get out to this touch and go, but you can see how fast he's driving here. Very shallow line, and then gets out to the wall, puts a bumper near the wall, and then right there, not able to hold the angles, bends out, and hands himself an incomplete.
So fortunately for him, he did have a score on his first run. He had an 87, so he's still sitting good, still sitting highly qualified, but on that second run does not better it, spins out, incomplete run, but an 87 will see him in tomorrow's head-to-head action. What was it? 82, sorry. I don't want to hang a judge out to dry, but yeah. Andy told me 87, but it was an 82. So an 82 there. Here we go. This is JTP Justin Pollock. Falcon Tires, Roush Performance, Ford Mustang. Well done. Yeah, Justin standing on the throttle. Could barely hear yourself think. Man, these Ford Mustangs are really out for blood. Make some noise for JTP.
Well, Justin Pollock, another aggressive run here. And like we said, Jared, in run number 1, he's really just looking at fine-tuning the vehicle because he felt very comfortable with it. And you can see that here on the track. Snappy transition back around. He locks into that angle, and then he just really draws that line through that second outer zone. Nice smooth transition back around, and then through this last inside clip here. Solid run right there by JTP Justin Pollock.
All right, so as we are waiting for Justin Pollock's second score, he had an 88 on his first score, which is still very strong. Next after JTP will be Chelsea Denofa, and a 93 for Justin Pollock. Puts him into top 3 position. He sits in third with a 93 in the Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang. Again, another happy birthday to this gentleman, Chelsea Denofa. BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Chelsea Denofa went hard into that touch and go. Maybe he's going to turn it down to maybe 10, not go 11 all the way. And there it is. Evades that touch and go, keeps it off the wall, gets very familiar with that second outer zone and brings it around that final front clip. And there is Chelsea Denofa. This BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR ready to rock.
Chelsea Denofa here. Strong second performance, very aggressive run number 1. You can see that big long e-brake pull here, but then back on the throttle, tries to get out to that touch and go. Decent job there on that first outer zone, drawing the angle out here to outside zone number 2. And then final transition back to this last inside clip is Chelsea Denofa. So you remember he made some contact with the walls, this time a little bit more conservative, a little bit cleaner, and a solid run overall.
Yeah, well done by the birthday boy Chelsea Denofa. As we wait for his score. Yeah, and that was the other driver, Dean Carney. Unfortunately, has some mechanical failure in his Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Achilles radials. And there's Chelsea's score, and an 88. So he does better his score by 1 point, an 88. And coincidentally, that's his car number as well. He loves the movie Back to the Future, so very befitting, an 88. Also, Chelsea shares his birthday with this gentleman, 3-time Formula Drift champion, Chris Forsberg. So happy birthday to these two dudes. Happy birthday to Chris, the Force Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink 370Z. As Forsberg, in I believe, had an 89 on his first score, and yes, he does. Can he better? Look at it, everybody up in the ante. Is Chris going to do that as well? Into that first touch and go, and now into the first outer zone. Fluid into the second outer zone, and then finally put an exclamation point on it, just barely massaging that final Black Magic front clip.
Chris Forsberg here, run number 2. Nice early initiation there, now headed out towards the touch and go. Very smooth here, nice transition. Can get a little bit deeper into those zones, but overall he's got a nice score of an 89 on run number 1. Will this be enough to break into the 90s here for Chris Forsberg? We will find out as he continues to look strong here in Long Beach.
All right, so Forsberg with an 89. Is that enough? Does that better his first run? As we wait. So again, working our way through our remaining qualifying drivers, and Forsberg with a 91 on his second run, puts him into top 5. So a good run there for Forsberg. And he has a 91 on his second run. All right, so advancing on, Matt Kaufman. Matt Kaufman from Central Point, Oregon, from the PNW, Kaufman Racing, Thunderbolt Racing Fuel, Achilles Radial 240 SX. It's a Nissan body, but with a Ford Heart V8 under the hood. Wiggling his way into the touch and go. Nice job by Kaufman. Woo! Nice job! Woo! Liking that from Kaufman. Aggressive into that first front clip, and now knocks down that final front clip. Put him in a Kaufman.
Matt Kaufman definitely improving here on run number 2. Nice initiation here on that line, headed out towards the touch and go. A little bit short there, but great job right there, rubbing the bumper up against outside zone number 1. Definitely leaving a little bit on the table there on outside zone number 2, and then kind of tight there. The judges want to see you get out to that touch and go on that last one before that inside clip, but overall solid performance there by Matt Kaufman, and again another driver headed into the top 32 tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot more confidence around on the second run for all the guys. Everybody's just stepping it up more and more, and Kaufman, as I said before, just a driver to watch, and when he's on, you could just see it clicking for him, and just a lot smoother. Just the transitions are nastier, and yeah, it is evident in the score. An 86, way better than a 66 on his first score. So an 86 for Matt Kaufman puts him into the 12th position. Okay, Ryan Turk and the Gum Out Black Magic Next Entire Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86 from Derry, New Hampshire. BC Racing on the corners, talking about the suspension, and here we go. Ryan Turk, what do you got? Send it. The 2 JZ powered GT86 transitions under the bridge. Listen to this thing wind out, popping. And around that final clip, very fluid there from Ryan Turk.
So Ryan Turk looking to better run number 1 here, pushing for a higher score. Looking to move up the ladder here. You can see just a little bit off the touch and go and that first outer zone, but very smooth, clean line here. Great throttle control. And a nice job right there, apexing that last inside clip. So great job by Ryan Turk here. And we'll see what his second run brings for him and where he's going to get slotted into the top 32.
All right, so we are waiting for the score of Ryan Turk. Next up, Peter Vincic. Again with that 96, so it's going to come down to the second run. Again, tied with his teammate James Dean, both of them with 96. And we are understanding the scores are in, and it's a 90. He betters it by 1 point, but he does get into the 90s club. That is a 90 for Ryan Turk. Puts him into the number 7 position. It's a 9-0 for Ryan Turk. Again, if you're just tuning in, we are live here at the streets of Long Beach. O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach, presented by Permatext. And here we go. Peter Vincik from Poland. He has a 96 on his first run. Oh, wow, gets even deeper and more intimate with both the touch and go. The first outer zone, the second outer zone. Peter Vincik. Wow, look at that. Peter Vincik just composed, Ryan.
Well, it's a bit of a duo here, a duel between Peter Vincik and James Dean. Again, great job on that touch and go. Just a nice fluid switchback and then tapping the wall there on outside zone 1, very deep into outside zone 2. I mean, this has got to be at least equal to his first run, if not more, and potentially laying down the gauntlet for James Dean and the remainder of the competitors of Chris Stapps, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Odie Bachis, and Frederick Osbo to try and one-up these guys, but a solid performance here by Peter Vincik.
Yeah, very well executed there by Peter Vincik from Poland. As we talked about, the most recent victor, but that's going all the way back to the final round of the 2017 season in Irwindale, California. So a lot of confidence earned throughout the year, and there it is, another 96. So back-to-back 96s for Peter Vincik in that Wirthouse Drift Team Falcon Tires Sylvia S15. So the question is, what will James Dean do?
Well, it's going to come down to who has the higher style score is the first tiebreaker.
Yep.
And then we go to the next criteria. But right now they are tied for first place. We'll have to take a look at James's style score. That may be...
Oh, it'll come down to his overall score.
Well, I'm just saying, in terms of this run here, I don't know what he got on the style on his first run, but Peter has a 39, so he could only have a 40, which I don't know that he has that.
Right. All right, so Michael Essa. Mike Essa here. Essa Autosports. Achilles Tire BMW M3. And here comes Essa. Essa, nice into that touch and go area, but it looks like it throws him off into that first outer zone. Another victim of hitting the touch and go too deep, and it throws him off of his line. He finishes it, but definitely I think he's leaving a lot of points on the board.
Big angle there from Essa on the outside of the touch and go here. We'll take a look at it as he comes out of the chicane. And then here's the initiation. You can see right here, he's just gonna put a lot of angle into the vehicle, taps the wall, and then he's not able to carry that angle back around to that first outside zone. So a little bit of a mistake there from Michael Essa. Already has a score of 86 on his run number 1, so he's sitting pretty right now. And you definitely gotta give him a pat on the back for pushing it on run number 2, trying to get that higher score and that better positioning.
All right, so we are waiting for the score here for Essa. And again, just all the different architecture here on the city of Long Beach. So much history here on the streets of Long Beach, from Formula One, kart racing, to now drifting. And next weekend, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach will be out there. Again, come find us Friday and Saturday night. Motegi Racing Super Drift Challenge, and there it is, a 79 on his second run. His first score better being an 86. An 86 on his first run, the better of the two. He's in that number 12 position. All right, next up, we have that of Daijiro Yoshihara, turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tires, Subaru BRZ. All right, here we go. Dai Yoshihara out to the touch and go. Flirts with the wall, but doesn't get as close on the first one. Now works it in. You can see him tapping the brakes. This turbocharged LS under the hood. Nice job there by Dai Yoshihara. Turn 14 distribution. Falcon Tires BRZ, one of the FD veterans from day one.
Daijiro Yoshihara coming off a strong performance at Irwindale last year. Trying to start off the season right. He has an 88 on run number 1. Good job coming back around to that first outer zone here. You can see Dai reaching out wide, tapping the brakes for a second, now moving back around to this final touch and go and that last inside clip. And a strong performance from Daijiro Yoshihara.
All right, so as we are waiting for Dai Yoshihara's score, we are getting into the top 5 from 2017. You got some time here, so why not pull out your phone and you can win a MagnaFlow exhaust. Again, a MagnaFlow exhaust by texting MF Drift, as in MagnaFlow Drift, to 555-888. Again, MF, as in MagnaFlow, MF Drift, to 555-888. So act now. You can win an exhaust. I see. Lantain, you doing it? Nice. Well done. Just kidding. Andy, are you texting? Wow, all you guys. And there's the score. Dai Yoshihara, an 89. So betters it by just 1 point. That's an 89 for Dai Yoshihara and puts him into the number 8 position for that turn 14 distribution Falcon Tire Subaru BRZ. Okay, so again, top 5 drivers now. Kristaps Blush from Riga, Latvia. Ryan, you talked about it, the story of that vehicle, the Eurofighter, and what he went through last year.
Yeah, not even knowing if he was going to be able to compete, and just by coincidence, that happened to be coming in from SEMA. Yeah. Great story.
Yeah, and a great driver, really dynamic, comical cat. He's had some awesome moments, and he's trying to make this one as well. Woo! Explodes that back right corner. And you just cringe looking at the beauty of that car. Carbon Kevlar and taillight shrapnel all over under the bridge.
Well, tough break there for Kristaps. He does already have a score in the books, but unfortunately he will be needing to make some repairs to the vehicle. Let's see what happens here. He comes across and then just throws it just a little bit too late of a transition, causing his line to go off, tapping that wall there, and of course, in Kristaps' nature, continuing to blow through the remainder of the course, not shutting it down. So Kristaps Blush, always an exciting driver to watch. Just a little bit too late of a transition, and then right there you can see makes contact with the wall. Little carbon on the track.
Jeez. Get
that cleaned up, but Kristaps continuing to fulfill the run. We'll have to see what the judges think about that. I do believe that is going to be counted as a collision and potentially a 0, and it is.
Okay, so that will be an incomplete run there for Kristaps, but he does have a score on his first run. All right, thank you to Cal Club cleaning it up. As we have 4 more drivers left. Vaughn Gittin Jr., Odie Bakshis, Frederick Osbo, and finally James Dean to find out who will be our number 1 qualifier. And like I said, coveted spots. Dean Carney, again, unfortunately not able to make it due to mechanical and that of Taylor Hull as well. So 30 spots. The top 2 qualifiers will have a bye run going into top 16. So as we're cleaning up the track, we'll take a short break here, but we'll be right back. Up next will be that of Vaughn Gittin Jr. are back, and what we are hearing is Vaughn Gittin Jr. is foregoing his second qualifying run. So it looks like we are going on into a Odie Bakshies, I apologize. Odie Bakshies, then Frederick Osbo, and then James Dean. So we are into our top 3 finishers of the 2017 season. Odie Bakshies finishing 3rd in a very talented and stacked lineup of drivers. All right, so Odie Bakshies, look at all that smoke just lingering. Again, that V8 S14. We saw him go into the wall earlier, and Odie Bakshies has an incomplete run, so he needs this. If you can recall, on his first run, he right here. He went right into the tire wall. He's gonna evade it. There, steers clear of it. Massive angle from Odie Bakshies. You can see those front drifts wheels, DRIFZ, talking about those. Counter steered the white. Seeing some corrections, just wiggling a little bit around that final front clip, but that'll be a score. He is out of the, basically, he's going to be seen out to, yeah, exactly, thank you.
No walk of shame today this weekend for any drivers out here so far. Odie Bakshies, our final driver, that had an incomplete on run number 1, comes through in run number 2, lays down a pretty solid run here, just above that conservative level. I think it'll be a nice mid-80s score for him. And we'll take a quick look back, Jared, at his first run to see what happened here. I was hypothesizing that he just got the line a little bit wrong here. After initiation, you can see he tags the wall there. And thankfully, it was the tire wall first and not the hard concrete wall. So he was able to come back, no major mechanical problems with the vehicle. We'll see what his score is and where he slots into the bracket for tomorrow's top 32 competition.
All right, so we are, again, like you said, the walk of shame. That's a great way of putting it, Ryan. The walk of shame. So all drivers are in head-to-head. An 88 on his second score. Odie Bakshies finds himself currently in the number 10 position. And next up, the former Formula Drift champion, Frederick Osbo, in a brand new car and a brand new steed, the Rockstar Energy Drink. Nexen tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla. Brand new car operated by Papadakis Racing. The hired gun, that is the Norwegian Hammer, Frederick Osbo. Nearly 1,000 horsepower to this 4-cylinder turbo setup. Let's see what he can do here on his second run. And there we go, into that touch and go. You working it, bouncing like a ping pong ball. Approaching that final front clip, Osbo brings it around.
Well, Osbo, Dean, and Vinsek starting off where they left off here. We saw Osbo with a bit of a conservative run here, not getting after that touch and go. Here he touches the wall there. A little bit of a hiccup there, but pretty deep into that first outer zone. Great job on that second outer zone. Nice fluid line here. Gets to that third touch and go, or that second touch and go rather, and that final inside clip. So this should be a much improved run for Frederick Osbo after his first run. We'll see exactly where that lands in. I have to imagine it's at least going to be in the low 90s. But will it compete for one of those number 1 or number 2 slots? We also got Forrest Wang sticking in there at a 93. So some high scores here.
Yeah.
But only 3 drivers breaking into the 90s.
No, I think we got
4?
about 5. Yeah, we got 5 or 6 into the 90s.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got 4 or 5.
All right, so and there's Osbo, 93, a 93 for Osbo. He jumps up compared to an 80. Qualifies 3rd, because that won't change, because James Dean currently sits in the number 1 position along with Peter Vinsek. So how is it, is James Dean going to top it? But yeah, and also Forrest Wang.
Yeah, so they're tied. Osbo and Wang are tied.
Oh, thank you very much. right. Vincek has a perfect style score, so basically James Dean needs to throw down here in his second qualifying run. Is he just going to better it with a 97? We're about to find out. He goes wall to wall, from the windows to the walls, from the sweat dripping off James Dean's tire walls. Make some noise for James Dean, the machine, your defending 2017 champion, showing you exactly why he is your defending champ.
Well, not falling off here, and he certainly is playing with the walls all the way around at the first touch and go. Watch this outside zone. Now right there he makes this tiny, barely noticeable bobble, and will that be enough to keep that 96, or not, that 97 or higher out of reach for him? He does the rest of the course pretty flawlessly, and again, the storyline coming out of qualifying is just how strong this Worthouse team is. What will the score be as we wait for the judges to drop? We've got 2 96s, 2 93s, and so we're gonna have to go to some secondary scores to figure out who's gonna be our 1, 2, and 3 place finishers here in qualifying. But Jared, qualifying is one part of the game.
Yeah.
You get points, obviously, for the championship, but it's really about the positioning in the bracket.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow is the main day. It's really what it's all about. And for James Dean, he's given himself a very awesome opportunity, along with the second place finisher, to move right into the top 16 because of the Taylor Hole and Dean Carney not being here this weekend.
Yep. And you know, are we going to have a repeat? You know, repeat of Long Beach last year. James Dean, all signs are saying yes, and he wants to tap it. And there it is, another 96, but Styles at 39. So again, unofficially it says position 1, but we'll get down to that, because I believe Vincek has a 96 with a perfect style score.
If I'm not mistaken, that would make Vincek your #1 qualifier, because I do believe he had a perfect style score. So unofficially, it does look like Peter Vincek is going to be your #1 qualifier, James Dean #2, and then whoever had the higher style score between Wang and Osbo. So very close battles here, for close qualifying runs for the top 4 guys, and just a sensational qualifying, competitively speaking, overall.
Yeah, so you know, just taking a look at the new cars, Federico, seeing his Ferrari, looks like he's in the game. Osbo looks like, even though it's a new car, he's backing for it. And then also seems like the drivers, because again, we're talking about qualifying, but tomorrow, who really did their homework in the offseason to take out James Dean, the machine? You know, we need to, who's going to take him out? You know, I mean, who's done the most homework? Yeah,
it's tough. I think it's hard to know exactly what to predict just by qualifying, but we've just seen that James and Peter have really stepped up their game in the offseason. They've continued to progress, and the other drivers need to make those adjustments and changes in order to keep up with them on track. And we're going to see what's going to happen tomorrow when the battles go down. We saw some really aggressive runs from Chelsea Denofa. We saw 1 run from Von Gittin Jr. We've seen Osbo lay down 2 runs, and all the other competitors like Justin Pollock, Alex Hilbrun, Alec Honadell, Ryan Turk, Michael Essa, so many top names in the sport here competing to get those points for the 2018 championship.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Thank you to Ryan Lontaine, and of course, we'll introduce Lorette Nickel tomorrow. Thank you for joining us here. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach, presented by Permatex. Round 1 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Tomorrow, the gates open at 9 o'clock with top 32 beginning at 11 to 1, halftime break, and then we have our top 16 and opening ceremonies beginning at 3 o'clock. Thanks for joining us out here. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Jared Dienda. Again, hashtag FDLB. Join the conversation. Let everybody know you're out here watching it, and you are part of the Formula Drift family. Send it.